Good day. Um, Today is Friday, December 18th, 2020. Recording this Thursday night. Hope all of you are safe after the snowstorm. Um, I'm anticipating we'll be in school, so we will be having live meetings as well. So just to frame what we're doing today, I'll be calling you when it's our time for live class. We're just going to we're having a 10-question assessment. It's been pushed back to Monday, 21st. I'm not going to give you 10 review assignments. There's going to be a lot of redundancy on this quiz. This is just going to consist of lessons 3 and 4. Okay, so I said what's fair is to actually do a warm-up. So the warm-up in the exit ticket cover the polynomial equations in lesson 4. The 5 problems I assign you cover the rational equations in lesson 3. So that's what we're going to spend the most of the time going over. So the way I'm going to do this is just post each question, and I'll be back to review it because this is asynchronized. You've already had videos put out on these. So the video that I attach here, which you're looking at right now, will just be to review these questions. Make sure you're doing them properly. I'll be back to go over question 1. Okay, answer to the warm-up should be 0. -9/2 is -4.5 and +2. So this document will explain the steps used for all polynomial equations. So on the quiz, probably 4 or 5 questions on each lesson. So you set the equation equal to 0, factor out the greatest common factor, which in this case is x cubed. And then we divide all 3 terms by x cubed. And we get x cubed times 2x squared plus 5x minus 18. Now to explain the factored form, let's just, I did this. Sorry. A times c, which is 2 times -18, so that's -36. That add to b would be 5. So we've had this combination a lot. +9 times -4. So that's where the +9 and -4 come in. And we're dividing both by 2. And then 9/2 doesn't simplify. 4/2, of course, is 2. So then let's just apply the zero product property and solve. And I recommend you check your solutions on Desmos. So let's share the graph that I prepared. These will all be prepared quickly, so you can just go through them quickly. And I plug the function in. And of course, -9/2 is -4.5. Okay. Okay, so we'll go over the 5 rational equations. So the first one comes from this. These 5 come from, the first one comes from day 1. Questions 2 and 3 come from days 2 and 3. Questions 4 and 5 come from days 4 and 5. So they get progressively harder. So just remember with these before I come back to come up with the common denominator. So I'll be back to go over that. Question 1 we've done before. A lot of these review problems I take from previous assignments. This was a crazy one. This isn't really, honestly, I would consider it, it's not a fair question to ask you on a test. Because it becomes a quadratic. So if it becomes a quadratic, I want it to be reasonable. It's going to be done. It's good reinforcement, but what you see here is probably a little bit more difficult what I'm going to expect of you. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful planning this. But in this question, your common denominator is easy. It's just 5x times 4, so it's 20x. So we multiply 2 by 4. I'm showing that down here. by 5x, so we get 8 plus 5x. And 3x gets multiplied by 5x and 4, which becomes 60x squared. So solve for x. This is a quadratic equation, so you have to set it to 0, and this one can't be factored. So you have to use the quadratic formula. I'm not going to give you any questions where you're going to use the quadratic formulas, but so it'll be there if you want to use it on anything you got to factor. But we end up with 5 plus or minus negative 5 squared, which is 25. 4 times 60 times negative 8 is negative 1920. So that changes to positive 1920. Added to 25 changes to 1945. This is what we break it down to. 5 plus radical 1945 over 120. 5 minus radical 1945 over 120. So 2 decimals are 0.409 and negative 0.326. So get the graph prepared. My graph, those are the intercepts. I don't want to go for this, it's not necessary. It's negative 3.26, negative 0.326, excuse me, and 0.409. All right. So in a question like this, just a little bit more, I wouldn't expect you to break down the radical, but if you did, let me just show you. All right, so we get 5 plus or minus 19. I broke down 1945 this time. It becomes, I believe it's 19, there's 389 in here. 1945 divided by 389. It's 5. The 5's not a perfect square. So you wouldn't touch that. So you really wouldn't touch this one other than 5 over 120. 120 divided by 5 is 24. So you could actually do this. You could go 1 over 24 plus or minus. You don't touch the second one. All right. So I've seen answer keys do it both ways, but these are okay for this question. Okay. So the next question is question 2. This comes from days 2 and 3, questions 2 and 3. Okay. So we're going to be cross multiplying. These are the ones, just to give you a hint, where you cross multiply. You should get the quadratic equation where the quadratic term cancels. So I'll be back to go over that using the same steps. Okay, question 2, answer should be negative 24 over 7. So I add step 5 as check your solution. I didn't have that in the last one. Which is negative 24 over 7, which is negative 3.429. All right, so just looking at the graph, the x-intercept is negative 3.429. And just let's go over the applications of each step. So I checked it, so now I have to go back. So the common denominator is x plus 6 and x plus 4. You don't have to simplify that out. It should be plus, minus. But I applied it right. I'm looking at it. So the 4 gets multiplied by x plus 6, and the 3x gets multiplied by x plus 4. The 3 on the right side gets multiplied by x plus 6 and x plus 4, so you got to FOIL that. So under simplify, that shows you all the algebra. So when we multiply the right, we get 3x squared plus 12x plus 18x plus 72. When we apply the distributive property on the left, we get 3x squared plus 12x plus 4x plus 24. And then of note, 3x squares cancel, and the 12x's cancel. So I wanted to show you that. So 4x plus 24 equals 18x plus 72. You don't have to do it that way. Subtract 18x and subtract 24. I didn't want to show you that, so I'm not going to waste your time there. So negative 48 over 14 simplifies to negative 24 over 7. Okay. So in example 3, you're doing a similar problem. You have this attachment, so the common denominator, just to get your head start here, should be x plus 2 and x plus 5. Okay, so I'll be back to go over that. Okay, question 3, very similar nature to question 2. So, so the answer should be negative 17, negative 25 divided by 17, which is negative 4.71. I'll show you the graph. I'll try to go through the steps here. Common denominator is x plus 2 and x plus 5, as I said previously. The 3 gets multiplied by x plus 5. The 4x gets multiplied by x plus 2. We get 3x plus 15 plus 4x squared plus 8x. And 4 gets multiplied by both x plus 2 and x plus 5. So what I did is I multiplied 4 by x plus 5 first, 4x plus 20. And then I FOILed 4x plus 20 and x plus 2 and got 4x squared plus 8x plus 20x plus 40. And then from here, what I didn't show is 8x cancels and 4x squared cancels. So 3x plus 15 equals 20x plus 40. Put the variable on one side, put the constants on the other side, and we get negative 25 over 17, which is negative 1.471. So if I show you the x-intercept of the graph, here it is, negative 1.471, which is the same decimal we get from negative 25 over 17. Okay. So next order of business will be to go through questions 4 and 5. We're going to follow the same steps, but these are the two where you have your denominator with the trinomial should factor to the denominators, like the two factors of x squared plus 7x plus 10 is x plus 5 and x plus 2. We'll be back to go through that one. Okay, question 4. Check the answer on Desmos. It's negative 5 over 21, negative 0.238. So just to go through it. Common denominator is just x plus 2 and x plus 5. So we don't touch the trinomial. We just multiply it by 1. And I just brought it down here. Now, this is one thing I haven't emphasized here. This is a minus 2. That gets multiplied by x plus 2. So we multiply the minus 2 by x plus 2. We get negative 2x. And it's minus 4. That's important. So if you can make it negative 2x plus 4, it's going to screw up your intercept. And then 3x gets multiplied by x plus 5, which is 3x squared plus 15x. So the 3x squares do cancel. And as you can see, negative 4x minus 2x simplifies to negative 6x. Negative 1 minus 4 simplifies to negative 5. So what I did is I moved negative 6x over to the right and added it to 15 to get that 21. So x is negative 5 over 21. So if we check the graph, okay, I have it ready. I should have it ready. Yes, negative 5 over 21. So this is the function. It's negative. Oh, I didn't type the function in here. Okay. I could just adjust that right now. Okay, so I'm gonna have to type this in. Just bear with me. Should have had this prepared. Okay, so was the previous graph. So this, these are not easy to type in. Divided by x squared plus 7x plus 10. Minus 2 over x plus 5 equals 3x over x plus 2. Right, so I'm going to change that to minus, so hopefully we got this right, so I don't have to negative 0.23, negative 0.238, bingo. So it checks out. Okay, so go back. One more to go over. Right, so this one is all set. Just want to draw my beautiful check box. It's not beautiful. That's better. Okay, so in question 5, very similar example. Same thing. X plus 9 times x minus 7 should multiply to x squared plus 2x minus 63. So you want to follow the same steps doing the last question. Okay, so number 5 comes out to negative 2.075, which is negative 83 divided by 40. Let me show you what I did to get those numbers. Common denominator, as we said, leaving was x plus 9 and x minus 7. So 5x gets multiplied by x minus 7, which I show down here. Negative 9 gets multiplied by x plus 9. And the trinomial just stays by itself, so we multiply it by 1. You don't even have to show that. So 5x squared minus 35x minus 9x, and that's minus 81 equals 5x squared minus 4x plus 2. And the 5x's cancel. So the quadratic terms don't cancel. You got to use the quadratic formula. So negative 35 minus 9 is negative 44. So negative 44x minus 81 equals negative 4x plus 4. So I added 4x to both sides. 4 added to negative 44 is negative 40. 81 added to 2 is 83. 83 over 40 is negative 2.075. And when we check this, you're going to see that it checks out on the graph. So when I type in, you got the intercept's negative 2.075. Okay. So your quiz, I went over 6 questions today. It was very thorough. Your quiz is going to be kind of a split between the 2 topics. So if you have any questions, we'll be going over this during the live meeting too. You can reach out to me as well. Thanks.